after going through the major awards at the Producers and Screen Actors Guild, we finally know what's going to happen to the Independent Spirit Awards and the Writers Guild. Before we get into the main one, we have to finish 2 more award shows prior to this, and these are the 38th Independent Spirit Awards taking place this Saturday, and the 75th Writers Guild Award taking place this Sunday. Those are today's predictions videos. The Oscars predictions will be next week. But here we go for today's a massive prediction video. And that is, of course, the 38th Independent Spirit Awards, which is honoring the independent films that will be taking place this 4th at Santa Monica. The earliest, usually, for any award show, because it's usually 2 p.m. West Coast time. I forget what the West time I might say, but 5 p.m. Eastern over here. And instead of IFC for many years, like the Screen Actors Guild Award, the Independent Spirit Awards will be streaming through YouTube through both Film Independence Official and IMDb's YouTube channels, respectively. And the host will be American comedian Hassana Minhaj, if I'm correct on that. And we know there is one massive movie here that has 8 nominations here that is big recognition, and I know there's also 5 television ones, but we don't talk about television. And also, why is Abbott Elementary in here? I thought that was a mainstream one because it's ABC, but we're looking here at the main awards. Now, before we begin, we have 3 special filmmaking awards as well, but also one special award, and that is the Robert Altman Award. Robert Altman. The Robert Altman Award is going to Women Talking, which is given to director Sarah Polley, casting director John Buchanan, and Jason Knight, but it will be given to the entire cast: Shailene Brown, Jessie Buckley, Claire Foy, Kira Guillen, Kate Hallett, Judith Ivey, Rudy Mara, Shelley McCarthy, Frances McDormand, who is a producer on Women Talking, Michelle McLeod, Liv McNeil, Ben Whishaw, and August Winter. And then we're going into the predictions already. Now, these 3 awards here, the Emerging Filmmakers Awards, these usually don't get announced until, weeks prior, like even before when we do these predictions. But it looks like they're going to probably be announced on the show, I'm guessing. Because as of this March 1st recording, they have not been announced yet. So why not go with them right now? So the Truth and Fiction Award, I will mention these 3 nominees here. So we got Rebecca Hunt for Beba, Ray Davenport for I Didn't See You There, and Isabel Castro for Miji. And I'm going with Red Davenport for I Didn't See You There because it's the only one that has a Wikipedia page. The Someone to Watch Award, the nominees are Arcel Lemons for Holy Enemy, Adamo Edbo for Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul, and Nika Jusu for Nanny. And I'm going to go with Amanda Obo for Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. That's the mockumentary movie with Regina Hall and Sterling Kane Brown, which you would think it's a religious movie, but I heard it's actually not. And the Producers Award, the nominees are Liz Cardenas, Troy Lanosky, and the one I'm going with because it has 4 names, David Grove Churchill Visky. So those are the 3 filmmakers awards I'm going with. So Truth and Fiction, Ray Davenport for I Didn't See You There, Someone to Watch, Admama Bo for Honk for Jesus Save Your Soul, and producers Dave Grohl Churchill Vista. So let's get into the actual category awards, starting up with the Best Editing Award. First up is interesting that Marcel the Shell with Shoes On actually got nominated for here, because it is an independent film, but it's interesting it got an editing nomination, which is very interesting. But This Is Everything Everywhere All at Once. It has basically going to sweep all its editing awards. I know the Eddies are also the same weekend as the Spirits as well. It has Critics' Choice, and it does have BAFTA. So, Top Gun Maverick doesn't look like it's going to win, except for the Eddie Skill for drama. But here's a bit of an easy one for cinematography. This is going to go to Tar. And it's ironic that with Tar, I think I did said this in the reaction, but I was originally going to predict Tar for cinematography, but I replaced it with the Batman after the BAFTA nomination. So I kind of regret not going with Tar, but turns out I got 1 out of 5 on the Oscar nominations because All Quiet on the Western Front Hunt was the only one I got. I still could have got Bad with 2, but that would have just been it. On to the featured film categories. This one's a bit of a discussion here, and that's international here, because none of the Oscar nominees are here, and there are 4 of them that were on the short list, minus the Philippines, Leonora Will Never Die. Because Joyland is the one I did predict for the Oscar nomination, and it was the film that Pakistan did ban in their own country. Saint Omer, the France film, was at the Directors Guild for debut. Cambodia's Return to Seoul, possibility, but I'm going to go with because it has the BAFTA nomination, and that's the Austria film Corsage that starred Vicky Krieps. If you have seen Phantom Thread, you know who Vicky Krieps is. So I'm saying the one that was probably the closest, based on precursors, I would say Corsage. Documentary feature now. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed could win here. Some people would say, I actually almost did went with All That Breathes. But I'm actually going to go with an upset and say A House Made of Splinters, which is also nominated, because, like Nelvani, it does have a bit of a Russian-Ukrainian story going on, and this was A House Made of Splinters is basically some sort of event that occurred before the Russian-Ukrainian war, and I think it would be in their way to award something with Nelvani, but it's not here, so the best way to go is the other subject matter about something similar to Russia and Ukraine with A House Made of Splinters. But All That Breathes definitely would make more sense, but I'm going to say an upset with A House Made of Splinters. Now, the John Cassavetes Award, this is actually a special award, and there are actually 3 movies in here, I almost said songs, that are in consideration, like The Cathedral, A Love Song, and Someone in the Dirt. The Cathedral is definitely up for some other categories. I don't know about Something in the Dirt. Holy Enemy, I believe that's in the, that's in the Someone to Watch world. The African Desperate has nothing, and A Love Song, is probably the one I'm going to go with, because, it has Dale Dickey in it, and, so I'm going to say A Love Song, but if the African Desperate wins, I'm going to be upset, but because it's the only one that doesn't have any other nominations. I think Something in the Dirt doesn't have anything either, but I'm going to say, based on between The Cathedral and A Love Song, I will say A Love Song wins the Cassavetes Award. At least it was easy last year, because we all know it was Shiva Baby. And for first feature, this is After Sun's Award to Lose. It is the big debut feature of the year, so I think there's no explanations. For the first screenplay category, I am going with Sarah Delappy and Kristen Ropanetta for Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It is a bit of a divisive movie, but since it got that director nomination, I think it will be Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. It's odd that After Sun is not in here, which is odd. Unless if Charlotte Wells had written a screenplay prior, but I'm not really 100% positive. For screenplay, I'm actually going to go a little bit offside and not give this to the Daniels and give it to Sarah Polley for Women Talking. I feel like if you kind of win the Robert Altman Award, you might have a chance to at least win, like, a screenplay prize. I know Mass, I believe, didn't, because I believe that went to Pig last year, if I'm correct. Going back here a little bit. First screenplay, but screenplay went to The Lost Daughter. But since we're going screenplay in general, I'm going to say Women Talking. Into the breakthrough performance, this is Stephanie Hsu. Frankie Corio is the only other competitor, but you have to go with somebody that is an Oscar nominee, and Stephanie Hsu is the one to go to. And by the way, I did revisit all my nomination predictions for the Oscars, and the thing is, I had predicted Stephanie Hsu all the way through from August to the final prediction for the nomination for supporting actress, and she has been stuck in my supporting actress lineup since my August predictions, and I never let her go. She got the nomination, and I didn't realize it, and I think that's more of an accomplishment than I would say than my predictions with Brian Tyree Henry, because I had only predicted him since September, but that's definitely his second best. But Shu predicting her all year round, like for the past August through final predictions in January 2 months ago, since we're now in March. Yeah, so it is ironic. So yeah, Stephanie Shu takes the win. Now, there is something here we do want to talk about here, and that is actually the changements they did, not just here at the Spirit Awards, but other independent award shows like Gotham and the British Independent Spirit Awards, is that they gender neutralized the supporting and lead categories, which you would think at glance it would make sense, especially for those people that are considered non-binary, but the result is kind of mixed because you don't really know what would be in consideration for supporting actress and who would be or supporting actor, lead actress, or lead actor. If this was normal, we would have talked about like a breakthrough performance, understandable, but like making them gender neutral is rather questioning, especially since there's a lot of female nominees, I believe, in this category for the lead performance, and a lot of males in the supporting category. So, or mainly evening, but it is a bit of a massive question mark. Now, for supporting performance, I should say, it is a toss-up between the two people that wanted SAG, Jamie Lee Curtis or Ki-Hugh Kwan. Now, if Jamie Lee Curtis wins here on Saturday, there could be a possibility she might win the Oscar. But I am still going to say Ki-Hugh Kwan, the supporting actor frontrunner, regardless. And then for actress, it is a bloodbath between Cate Blanchett in Tar and Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Or should I say maybe three, if they want to build up the Andrea Riseborough thing. Because they did nominate her for To Leslie, not at the last minute. I mean, this was her only precursor prior to the Oscars. So yeah, Riseborough is nominated here at the Spirits. And they do go for her. Oh my gosh, that means she is legit, could win this with just the Spirit precursor win. Because there is a lot of people like Kate Winslet might give her the number one vote. Oh, like I know Kate Winslet would, I know Edward Norton would. I don't think Cate Blanchett can't because she is nominated for lead actress. Now, Michelle Yeoh does have SAG, but it would prove to me if she wins here, she's going to win the Oscar. But I'm going to still stick with Cate Blanchett. If Blanchett wins here, I'm still going to say her for the Oscar regardless. So I'm going to say Cate Blanchett here for lead performance, with Michelle Yeoh kind of rising behind in second place, with Riseborough could be the upset. Unless they give it to Paul Mescal, and then it's like, where on earth are we going to go now? Best Director, this is the Daniels. Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert have another director win. And Best Feature, although you have Our Father the Devil getting only one nomination, that's last. Everything Everywhere All at Once, regardless. And that's kind of it for the Spirit Award, so that's going to be another win for Everything Everywhere All at Once. But there's one more Guild Award show left, and that is the Writers Guild of America Awards that are taking place this Sunday. Now, I think the Writers Guild are definitely going to leave some open air mark questions when it comes to one of the categories, specifically adapted screenplay, which we'll get into. But we're going to start up with documentary screenplay. Now, there are three chances of three different candidates. You have Last Flight Home, which has a subject that, a well-known subject that, if you know what the story is, it's definitely something kind of a tragic one, but not in like a tragic, sad one. Moon Age Daydream, of course, because it's the David Bowie one. And then Second Chance, because it is Ramin Bahrani, who was nominated 2 years ago for the Oscars for Adapted Screenplay for The White Tiger. But because of the subject matter, I'm going to say Last Flight Home over Moon Age Daydream and Second Chance. Then we get into adapted screenplay. Now, here's the massive question mark I kind of have, and some people have been thinking about this as well. I am still going to say Women Talking here for adapted screenplay here at the Writers Guild, so I think it will have a good weekend. But if it loses the Spirits to our original screenplay winner, which we'll get into at the Spirits, and if it loses here at the Writers Guild on Sunday, then I'm going to go in on All Quiet on the Western Front for the Oscars. So if there is any other movie that could win adapted screenplay, it's either Glass Onion and Knives Out Mystery or likely Top Gun Maverick. But I am still going to say Women Talking here still over Glass Onion and Maverick, because I think Women Talking would need to get this surgeons because it is a picture nominee. And if it still wins both of these and All Quiet somehow wins the Oscar, then we kind of knew where the race was going. But I am still going to say Paulie is definitely going to have a great weekend. And then the Daniels are going to complete their guild sweep in the original screenplay category for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Although some people think Banshee still could win the Oscar, but we don't know where it's at because with McDonough not being a member of the Writers Guild. So yeah, that's it. So it's just for the Writers Guild, Last Flight Home, Women Talking, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Everything Everywhere All at Once wins Bigs of the Spirits. That is basically it for these. So once these awards are done this upcoming weekend, next week will be my final Oscar predictions for the year of 2022. All 23 categories next week.